Boop. Whoops, there we go. Hello, welcome to Tea with the Druid, number 355. My name is Philip Cargom, and Tea with the Druid is brought to you by the Order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids. And how lovely to be with everybody. I was showing you, that was one of my holiday snaps that you saw inadvertently. Welcome, everybody. Let me make sure that everybody can, yeah, it should be all working. Hello from everyone, and people, I can see people gathering into the circle from Monroeville, Pennsylvania, Ayrshire, New York, Pacific Northwest, Healdsburg, California, Portland, Oregon, Germany. Blessings. I've seen New Zealand earlier on. Somebody else from Germany, Eastern Ontario, Missouri, Dartmoor, Seaham, Wigan, Essex, Derbyshire, Southern Germany. Liz Hill saying, I love the image of the church. Yes, I'll show you in a minute. Wabanaki lands of the AKA Quebec, Canada, Sunning Hill, Vashon, Ottawa. Lovely to see Lapland in Finland, southern Spain, Scotland, Eastbourne. Good, great to see you. So I'm up in the foothills of the mountains, the Rila Mountains in Bulgaria. At the moment, but so we're all, and Olena from Kyiv. Hello, Olena. Lovely. Let's all take a while just to gather around, to be seated around the fire. Just aware of the fact that as we're gathering, we're coming from so many different directions. There's a phrase we use in Druid ceremonies, you know, we come from north and south, east and west, to be here together now. And that's a lovely piece of ritual wording, I think. We come from north and west, north and south, east and west, to be here together now. So if you'd like to take just a moment just to check in, see how you're feeling. Body, feelings, mind is a quite good kind of run through of a check-in. How's my body feeling? How are my feelings feeling? My emotional state, if you like. And how's my mind feeling? Might all be one word. They might all be feeling the same, or they might be feeling different. And choose which one is the most predominant. What's the most predominant feeling? Is it a body feeling? Is it a feeling, emotional feeling? Or is it a mental state or feeling? And then come out and pop it in. Brent is restless. Body is relaxed. Feelings are grateful you are all here. Physically fatigued but good. Stressed and overactive on all three fronts. Hopeful. Very sore in the back. Amused, relaxed. Achy shoulders. Birched out. I wonder what birched out means. Too sleepy. Still, calm, resolute. Wow. Absolute calmness. Tired but content. Pretty ding-dang good. Mental level agitated, exhausted but calm, sleepy, affecting all feelings, curious, a little confused, sore ankle, fatigued and happy, productive day. It's interesting how sleepiness affects how we're feeling physically, emotionally, and mentally. Exhausted, indescribable, strong, body feeling predominant. Sad, my sister just flew out. Ovate studies, Philip. Suspiciously happy. That's I know that feeling. Why am I so happy? This is odd. Tired, exhausted. I've been feeling very in my head for a while now. It feels like my head is buzzing with jittery energy. Calm mostly, all over the place. Tired, I don't know why. Calm, thankful, grateful. Feeling a bit calmer now. Okay, after an intense week. Itchy from bug bites in my body. Psychological feeling content. Composed, just composed a chanted prayer for Kenonos. Great. Feeling tentatively positive. Happy because traveling. Utterly miserable, full of cough, cold, hay fever, maximum misery, a side of hay fever. Icky. Yes, restless but secure, empty. So that's it's interesting, isn't it, how we can sort of finesse it a bit, and by using these three categories, they can perhaps help to sort of tease out, you know, how we're feeling. So I showed you by mistake a picture, so let me show it to you deliberately now. I've just got, yesterday I was in Sofia in Bulgaria, and lovely city. And I've just got two pictures to show you. One is the Alexander Nevsky Cathedral, which is, and they've just refurbished the domes. So it's absolutely glinting brightly in the sun. And there's a tremendous icon museum in the basement, full of icons, absolutely fantastic. And then there, look at this one. This is the tallest wisteria I've ever seen. And this is the by the Tsar's old palace in the middle of Sofia. And that wisteria was obviously planted from that time. I mean, it's obviously very, very, I've never seen wisteria grow so high. It's just fantastic. And if you know wisteria, you know what a fantastic perfume it has. It's just such a beautiful, special kind of scent that it has. So there we go. So I was here with my Druid teacher, Ross Nichols, who those of you in the order will know him as Newen, the ash tree. That was his Druid name. I was here with him in 1974. That's 51 years ago. I was just thinking about it today. And I was walking in the forest, looking up at the mountains with the snow still on them. And we were up there in the mountains, staying with a group of people. We were on a kind of spiritual group that I'd organized. And I didn't know it at the time. I asked him to come and to give some talks for our group. And what I didn't know was that he was writing a diary about his journey. And about 10 years ago, I decided to write his biography. He died quite soon afterwards, actually. I think he died the following year. He died in 75. Yeah, so he died the year after, actually. And 10 years ago, I wrote his biography in a book called Journeys of the Soul. And I wrote about his life, and I also included some letters of his, and some of his travel. He was a great traveler, and he used to write about his travels. And I included his Bulgarian diary in the book. And the genesis of that book was a real example of how, when things can seem bad, they can have a hidden gift in them. And what was bad about that was I had included the biography because it's quite short. It's not a complete book. It's about half a book, third of a book. I had included it in another book, The Druid Renaissance, for a publisher. And the publisher didn't want to include it in the book. And his editor cut the whole thing out. And I was furious. I was so upset. You know, I'd spent months and months researching his life, writing about it, putting my heart and soul into it. And then the editor just said, no, we don't need that. Take it out. But it was an absolute gift, because when I'd got over the upset, I thought, well, I'll just make it a separate book. And then I'll add to it by adding some letters and pictures as well. Ross Nichols was a great watercolorist. And so in the book, I included, let's see if I can show you, some of his watercolors in the book, and some of his drawings, and then had it made in a hardback edition that was privately printed. And just recently, we ran out of the stock of this, and I thought, why don't we do a new edition of it to make it available? And while we're at it, let's do a paperback and a Kindle version and an ebook, and also an audiobook. So what I'm announcing today is that it's all ready now. There's the hardback of the book that you can get with the color pictures in it, or you can get the paperback, which is black and white, or you can get the ebook, which has the color in it. And you can also get an audio book of the biography, narrated by the wonderful David Bramwell, who you may know because I've interviewed him here on Tea with a Druid. And he created that fantastic audio series, Adventures in Utopia, which looks at cutting edges in spirituality and healing and music and all sorts of things. It's a great series. If you don't know it, if you go onto the OBOD website, you'll see Adventures in Utopia. It's two series of podcasts, about a dozen podcasts. Fantastic. And David's got a lovely voice, and he does audiobook narration. So he's narrated the audiobook. So that's all available. And the audiobook has a slightly different title. It's called I Am Tough, Fantastic and Old, which was the title of a poem that Nguyen wrote. And I'll put Winter is asking for the name of the book. It's called, let me give you a link to it. It's called Journeys of the Soul. Whoops. Let me stick it in the chat. Boop. There we go. It's in the chat. Paul Robichaud is reading the hardback now, enjoying very much and highly recommended. Oh, thank you, Paul. That's lovely to hear. So there it's available in the OBOD store. And yeah, so and what I tried to do is I tried to, you know, sometimes when people write about their spiritual teachers, they suffer from the teacher suffers from the halo, what's called in psychology the halo effect. It's like because the disciple, the student adores their teacher, they exaggerate all their positive traits and so on. And the thing about Nguyen was that he was, you know, he was a human being. He was, you know, like you and me, just with his failings and bits that were unattractive and bits that were attractive and so on. And so I tried to write a realistic assessment and appraisal of him. And I quote from his poetry as well. And because one of the things that happened for me is that while I was training with him, I came across a guru, a Bulgarian guru, Omra Michal Ivanov, whose guru, Peter Dunov, or Ben Saduna, was taught in Sofia. They had a sort of community, a bit like a kind of Findhorn in the middle of the city in the war years and interwar years. And so that explains partly this Bulgarian connection. So I have this strong affinity with Bulgaria and have been to Bulgaria many times and have many Bulgarian friends. And this guru, this Bulgarian guru, was very charismatic. And there's one phrase I can remember from my book, which was, in the end, I decided that culture is more important than charisma. Because Nguyen wasn't charismatic. He wasn't charismatic. He was like a, you know, your headmaster or your geography teacher or your history. He was a historian. So he was like your history teacher. He was an academic. He was a poet. He was an artist. And he had no kind of airs about him. He was just himself. He wasn't charismatic. Whereas Mikhail Ivanov was very charismatic. He kind of, his aura was like 40 foot wide or something, you know. But in the end, here's the point. In the end, having followed two spiritual teachers, I came to the understanding and the belief that culture is more important than charisma, because charisma is like a kind of effervescent. It fades. It's the substance of a person. It's their character. It's their intellect, their heart. That's more important. So I've tried to talk about Nguyen in this way in this book. So anyway, so I'm really happy. It's taken ages to do. You've no idea. Just doing the audio book has been such a trial, just at this kind of technical level, getting through all the sound engineering issues and all the rest of it. So it's taken ages, and then getting the various Kindle editions and all. So it's been a long haul, with a lot of help from Lisa in the OBOD office, with her wonderful skills. So anyway, so it's a celebration of that, and being here in Bulgaria feels great as well. So let us enter into a meditation now. With what strikes me so much about staying in the mountains is that different quality of energy that the land has. There's the freshness of the air, and the quality of light, which is different because it's out in the country. There's a stillness in the air. There's a quiet here, which is just glorious. And then within that, within those kind of parameters that you'll get in any mountainous regions, there are particular kind of qualities that are more dependent on the region. So, if you're on the mountains in India, they'll feel different to the mountains in France and to the mountains in Bulgaria. And just over there, up in the mountains, are the Rila Lakes, 7 lakes, which are members of the Universal White Brotherhood. It's rather a kind of non-PC term now. I don't know what they call themselves. That's what they used to call themselves when I was following the teacher. But of this group, taught that they were linked to the chakras. And we used to go and camp there. We used to meditate at sunrise and all the rest. It's a really powerful place. So it's lovely, even though we're not up at that height. That's much higher. That's up in the snow. Nevertheless, it feels marvelous to be here. So let's make a journey from our grove up into the mountains. So if you'd like to, just having been aware of the mountains around, of the walls around you, ceiling above you, floor beneath you, here, fully present, here and now. If you'd like to gently lower your gaze, soften your gaze, or close your eyes, you might, if it feels okay, let that awareness just gently fade so that you find yourself seated in the sacred grove. Seated around a small fire, you can smell the wood smoke maybe. You can sense you're with 250 other people who've come from all over the world who are now sitting together in community in a circle. Take in a big deep breath, hold for a moment, and then breathe out fully and deeply. One more time. So good to be together. So good to be together in this space. The earth beneath us, the trees around us, the sky above us. And let's imagine that it's the early morning, the dawn is breaking, there's that freshness in the air. And we decide as a group to go on a journey. So if you want to join the group, some people may want to stay by the fire, but otherwise let's get up and just walk over to that path that leads out of the grove. And imagine now that you're walking, sensing the forest, sensing the smell of the trees, that sense of life that you get in woodland, the creatures, birds singing. It's early in the morning. Just starting to walk up through the forest. Gradually, you're coming higher up until you come out of the tree line, and you're coming up, and you can see now the mountains ahead of you. You're just in the lower foothills of the mountain, but there's a very clear track, and you're walking up the mountain, up the path, and you pause and you look up at the peaks, and they're all glistening brightly in the sun with the snow, shining white snow. And you can breathe in the freshness of the air. And you carry on walking, And the path turns. And as the path turns, even more mountains come into view. And then gradually you come, starting to come up to the snow now, the snow. And there's that wonderful crunching feeling of the snow. And in this journey, you're just able to travel easily over the snow and you don't feel cold at all. It's just fresh and bright. And you're walking along, turning around another bend on the track, and there's this beautiful lake spread out before you. And it's reflecting the mountain on its surface, the blue sky and the white snow. And the sun there's a rock there that you can sit on. There's a nice stone, or there's a bunch of stones so we can all sit down. And just let's stop here and just sit on the stone and allow a sense of being present to the lake, to the mountain with the snow, to the sunshine on our faces. And just breathe in the mountain air. Just focus on your breath as you breathe in the nuifre, the vital life force, the prana, whatever you want to term it, the energy that flows in as you breathe in this fresh mountain air. And you can feel every cell of your body being invigorated by the energy of this mountain air. May we have the steadfastness, the strength of these mountains. May we feel as clear as this mountain air. May the solidity and the firmness of these mountains reinforce our sense of firmness, of stability. And there's a way in which, by breathing in deeply, this very fluid, open air, if you see what I mean, there's just a gentle breathing it in, and this meets the solidity of who you are as a being. And each of us can feel as light as a feather, as clear as the sky, but also as firm, as solid, and as rooted as these mountains. And knowing that we can return to these mountain vistas, return to sit by this lake whenever we wish in our meditations. And keeping the sense of stability and strength and vitality that we've gained from spending these few moments in the mountains. Let's begin the journey down now, thanking the spirits of the mountains, mighty spirits of the mountains, thanking them and then walking, crunching across the snow. Coming down the path which leads to the tree line. We start to see the forest down there. We come into the woods now, the snow's finished, we're walking along the path back into the forest. That sense of, notice the feeling of the forest, how it's different to the feeling up there on the mountain. Different energy. Kind of rich, supportive, nourishing in a different way. drinking that in, drinking in the energy of the forest, coming down the path, seeing now the sacred grove ahead of us, the forest clearing, the small fire burning in the center, gradually coming into the circle, finding your place in the circle, sensing the earth beneath you, the trees around you. Thank you, dear trees, spirits of the trees, sky above us. And then sensing the community around us, and you sense your hands drifting out to either side of you, and you take hold of the hand to either side of you and tune into the energy of the circle. May we all have the clarity of the mountain air. May we all have the strength of the mountain spirits. May we all have the richness of the forest spirits and the spirits of the trees. And may the energy of this circle and of this community radiate peacefully outwards. A squeeze of the hand to either side of you. You let your hands drift down to touch the earth. May this land be blessed. May this earth be blessed. And then you move your hands up to your heart and placing the palms of your hands on your heart. You say, may my life be blessed. May all life be blessed. And as you do this, you start to become more aware of your body. You feel the warmth from your hands traveling into your body. You feel your body is warm. You feel the energy from the mountain air and from being in the sacred grove within your being and retaining these positive feelings. You gradually allow your awareness of the sacred grove to fade as you become aware of being seated here, fully present, here and now. And when you feel ready, you open your eyes. So, thank you so much. Thank you for your lovely comments. The gorgeous purple and white heather in the mountains. Thanks, Vesri. That's lovely. Thank you. Greetings. Jennifer was in Sophia. Pat Booker. Oh, Journey's of the Soul. Oh, thank you, Pat. That's lovely. Yes. So now I'm going to go into to have some biscuits around the fire in the Druid Hearth. So I might see you there. If not, have a wonderful week, and I look forward to being with you again in a week's time. Okay, much love, many blessings. Bye.